Hey everybody, welcome back to the feature crew. If you saw our most recent video, we did a head-to-head of Gemini 2.5 Pro and Claude 4 Sonnet, which are two of the most widely used coding models, and they're priced similarly, so they're in the same weight class. We noticed really neck-to-neck performance doing our testing with single-shot coding, and so we promised in that video that we would dive into their IDE coding performance in an Agentic IDE. We decided that Cursor is neutral ground, so we'll dive into Cursor and put both of those models head-to-head. So we have Gemini loaded up in Cursor. We're going to start here. All right. We have Gemini loaded up in Cursor. That will be our first contestant. Our prompt today is going to be a procedural archaeology adventure game. It's building off of our procedural dungeon crawler from the last video. We got a lot of positive comments about that test. We know that it's not the most realistic at-work coding test, but there were plenty of benchmarks that cover both single-shot and agentic coding performance, so you can check those out if you want to see them, and we want to do something a little more novel and fun on the channel. I will send off our prompt, and we'll get Gemini going, and we will not.
Because you're a free user.
I can just add an API key. We tried to send off that prompt. I have a Cursor free account. Instead of switching to, we do have a Cursor Pro account, but instead of switching, I wanted to try the API key. I added an API key, and apparently API keys don't work in agent mode. This is very surprising. I'm a little pissed with Cursor right now, so we're actually going to switch over to GitHub Copilot in VS Code and do the test there. After some major challenges, we're off. There we go.
Now we're moving.
It is worth noting that Gemini 2.5 Pro is in preview in GitHub Copilot. I had to re-enable it. I did try it a few days ago. That means that the new version of Gemini has been rolled out. It's come back. Gemini's actually doing a little bit of like breaking this up into manageable chunks. So it implemented like the basics. We said continue. It did the first set of like playable features. And so now it's claiming that we can move around, switch tool, and use our tools. Let's get it running and see if it's telling the truth. There's some error here.
And just say, like, we see absolutely nothing.
I always said when it breaks something. Okay, that was quick. Okay, we got something. Oh!
Oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Good job.
Okay.
So, okay.
Hey.
So, it looks like it's some kind of Minecrafty thing sitting on top of the plane. Like, it's kind of just put it on top, but it's okay.
And
Like,
then
can we interact?
I am curious. First, I want to see if we can switch tools. Okay.
Is it with the scroll wheel or something?
Yeah, I wish it was like numbers, but okay. But I can switch. I cannot yet mine. It doesn't seem like.
Pickaxe.
Use E or something? E or
It
space?
mentioned clicking, but E doesn't work either.
Oh, okay.
The highlighting of the currently selected block is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is something to work with, at least.
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely
Well,
something to work with.
Is it? We got a little bit of issues when it first started. It was just a white screen. It's kind of fixed itself, and it looks a little bit awkward. Obviously, that it's just sitting on top of the
Yeah,
desert.
it's kind of funny.
But you know, like this is not like a bad first attempt, right?
No,
Like it's
not
kind
at
of
all.
taken a few of the parts of the prompt. We like that it's got a base to work from. So we'll give it a few prompts just to work with it, see what we can do. I think the first port of call is making sure it can actually dig.
We're asking it to fix up those little issues and try to get that core gameplay loop of being able to actually mine the blocks and discover artifacts going.
Hopefully, it takes the entire prompt. We did add stuff about having a UI to show that you've actually unearthed an artifact. It's not just about exploding the blocks. So we'll see what it does.
It's claiming to have fixed the error. Let's see. And we
there you
can
go.
mine.
Very good.
Okay, so we're making progress here. We can mine. As Dylan was mentioning before, there's no way to see what we're actually recovering.
Yeah.
So right now it's just kind of like light Minecraft, but in a smooth
still-
world. Now that we've got the core like functionality working, let's ask to get to like really nail the gameplay loop of being able to uncover artifacts, see what we're uncovering. We've given it a reference back to the like sort of gameplay loop section of the original prompt and let it know that mining is working and we need that gameplay implemented now.
It appears done, but we don't see any big difference. So
Why did it stay red? Was that like a trap or
Why
something?
does it...
text there.
Okay,
Could be
all right.
back-
Hey, that's entirely consistent. I'll take it.
Oh,
look, there is. Yeah,
Hey, there you go.
I collected it.
There we go. Okay.
Find an artifact.
It is very Minecrafty. It's kind of cool.
And it's got that same like hello.
Hey, different colored artifact.
So it's added the artifacts now. We're gonna ask for UI is probably a final turn here.
And then we'll check out Claude, and then I
Yeah.
think at the end we'll do challenge mode for both to see how far they can push like the actual structure generation. I guess it just hadn't finished
Oh.
because it said step 1 and never got to step anything else. All right. I mean, we're getting artifacts, but there's just still this problem with we don't have any UI. And we tried again. This is where like we tried this beforehand with a single shot prompt, and maybe we'll open source that as well. Gemini did a far better game in a single shot performance. This kind of vibes with what we've been seeing in trying these models and in looking at their benchmark results, that the Gemini series hasn't really gotten good at being agentic yet, or at least not as good as the Claudes and particularly the O3s of the world, O3 and O4 Mini. So what we really want to try now is to see with this same prompt in the same IDE, but with Claude, we're going to do Sonnet, for Sonnet, and we're going to see if it is able to sort of be more agentic, even though sometimes in single-shot coding performance, Gemini is the winner.
Worth calling out to the audience because they did comment on our lack of using Opus. Currently, Opus's token, like the cost to run Opus is so high.
So Anthropic, to add on to that, it's not available in most coding IDEs, and Anthropic's own coding benchmarks show that Sonnet outperforms Opus by like a little bit on the coding benchmarks. So
That's correct.
Token.
We've got the same setup loaded with Claude Sonnet 4, and we'll send it off.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Whoa. Okay, it's got the weird kind of like
It's
zoom
got
out
like
thing.
the...
But why
oh.
why are the squares just floating?
Yeah.
What are
why the
those?
LSD sparkles? What's happening there?
Is
Choose
that
your
supposed to-
tools wisely.
Can you dig those square things, or are you digging on the floor? This area has a... I think you did dig it.
That's
Go
the only
dig
one.
into the floor.
Nothing found.
Nothing found. So these are the things you dig, I think, but they're just kind of... Nothing found.
What-
Real interesting soil layers.
I like that it added some like little, I mean, even if they're shite, like some little props.
What
Yeah.
happens if you go to one of the stones? The floating alien.
Like the problem is I
UFOs.
don't actually, I have orbit controls.
Oh, you can't. There's no up and down.
So you can't really
Oh.
steer it. Carefully expect...
Ah!
Whoa!
We're-
Did
Whoa.
you just teleport?
I should, wait, new
New
tundra
tundra.
discovered.
I mean, that's kind of cool. So it did get the biome thing, and now it's made snow. What is that? The float? Yeah. can
That's
you-
like when I dig, I think.
Scanner? You've got a score at least. You gained another scanner.
Oh,
use.
I don't think I'm digging the squares. I think
Maybe
like,
that's the air or something. I don't know.
yeah, it's like I'm digging on the ground.
I like the feathered serpent pendant was
Yeah.
what you excavated. Value 701.
See, that's cool.
Not bad. Can you use
A
the
golden
scanner?
pendant depicting Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity. Nice.
Pretty rad. And the tools, did you see how it explains
yeah,
how
we
to use
use
it?
it.
Like brush is safe, pickaxe is fast.
It just like hasn't really thought through the usability,
Yeah.
and it actually I think it broke my ability to
To dig.
dig.
Well, you teleported.
But I did
What's
tell.
making you dimension?
What was the condition to get to the next
I
level?
have no idea what the
Yeah.
condition was to get to the next level.
Can you use scanner just to double check?
Okay, so we're giving it some feedback to make it first person and make it easier to switch tools, which were our main issues. It was like mostly usability concerns. We also noticed that Claude took a different approach to mining. It's much more Animal Crossing than Minecraft. We just kind of pick a spot on the ground and check there. Maybe in the next follow-up, we'll ask it to improve that, but for now, we just want to get that core experience working.
All right, let's see what happened. Okay, the world is gray.
Okay, just
Oh, but you are mining at like an extreme distance.
okay. At least it implemented the tool selection.
What is this hit detection on mining though? You're like up and to the right of the cursor.
Right. I wonder if like is that random rectangle supposed to be a mine? Like, is that supposed to be a hint as to where things will be?
I just don't know why it's triggering the effect way off the cursor.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna push it one more time to see if it can get first person, because like maybe that'll help it fix the collision detection.
Quest failed.
I mean, it worked though. See? I think I'm just at a constant height. I mean, I guess it probably didn't get that far, so should we just let it continue? So, after some issues and some AI-created issues and some back and forth, we have a working setup, and it's implemented our feedback. So we can run around the environment in first person. Now, we're not actually on the terrain. We're kind of just floating above it, but that'll do for now. And it was able to implement Chris's feedback of giving us like a persistent indicator of where we mined, which is super important because with its blockless and digless approach here, it's hard to tell where you've mined. So we can now see that, oh, we've mined a bunch in the middle and go around the sides and try to, or see, we still haven't made any finds yet. I wonder if it broke that. And we're not able to mine the props, it doesn't seem like.
Can you use
I'll
the
try the
scanner?
scanner
Yeah.
to see if it, okay, oh. So, oh, there's one here. Did it not? That's too bad. Oh, does that mean it's just nearby so I can, like, dig around?
Theoretically.
I mean, that's as close as it gets, right? So there might be an issue with the scanner system. Let's try scanning again.
One anomaly. Scanner
I do kind of like the particle effect it has. Yeah, I've been clicking a lot and not able to find anything. I think we've reached a similar point as to where we were at with Gemini, where some things are working, some things are impressive. It's been doing a pretty good job of responding to our feedback and rectifying the errors that it created in the process of implementing things. So I think we'll call this the base level game, and we'll return to Gemini for this like final challenge mode to really try to push its artifact and ruin generation, so to get a better world feel than we have. And we're back into Blockland.
Hell yeah,
All right.
Blockland.
Challenge mode for Gemini. We're going to start with asking for a much better integration of the dig site and the terrain. And in the process, I wanted to add some procedurally generated ruins to really give us that archaeology vibe. I still haven't figured out. Okay, so it's saying to procedurally add the ruin structure within the dig site, which sort of makes sense, but it's just like not going to do the integration with the terrain.
Hey, it's some artifacts. Look at that.
Oh.
Oh, sugar.
Oh, but the research journal is there.
Okay. I think so.
Well, but we lost the game.
Hey, all right. You're absolutely right. I think I found the issue.
Okay, now the dig site is floating.
Aliens confirmed.
But we did get the UI back.
Yep.
So Gemini was able to restore the UI. Okay, and then these are the... was its attempt at ruins. Is it added these new ruin wall blocks inside. So it's actually kind of cool. Like, as we dig, we can uncover the ruin. Right?
Yeah.
And we found a broken cuneiform tablet. It does nail the text elements, that's for sure. And it's rare. Okay, so, like, Gemini put itself in a tough spot because it did this, like, Minecraft plus not Minecraft approach, where digging is Minecraft, but the terrain around is not Minecraft. It would be nice if it was able to, like, cut a hole in the terrain for the dig site or something like that. But that'll have to be a follow-up that the audience can run. We'll open source this code. Overall, Gemini encountered a lot of problems with sort of making errors and getting confused. It struggled to sort of stay coherent through some of our larger requests and even some of our more simple requests. Like, it took 3 times for it to correctly implement the UI, which we at least now can see. Chris, any takeaways on Gemini's performance here?
Yeah, I mean, I align with that. It goes back to that mystery of it performs really well in one shot and then just seems to not perform as well in agentic coding. This tracks with my experience of it. It's a very rambly model. It goes off on weird tangents. It clearly is smart, but it seems bad at the goal of coding, which is what it's being marketed as. But let's see how Claude does and compare in the bonus round here.
I'm asking for above ground artifacts, like hidden in the ruins. As a reminder, this is what we have with Claude. We're not sure if the tools are actually working, and so one way that we're going to approach this while still getting a cool challenge mode result is we're going to ask for sort of procedurally generated ruins and then also above ground artifacts that we can collect that are hidden amongst those ruins, so to sort of decouple from the tool system. But we'll also ask that the scanner identify those, and that'll be a way of verifying if the scanner works. And we're off. I'm like very nervous with what it did here. Oh!
Are you though?
Okay, I mean, we're definitely seeing some ruins. They're not the most coherent. These little arches are upside down. I don't see the above ground artifacts we
Oh,
wanted.
you found one. A flint arrowhead.
Oh. So does the scanner just, like, give me the artifact?
What a useful scanner, by the way.
Okay, artifact. The scanner still does not work. This has proven to be a difficult prompt for both of our contestants here.
I'm really not sure who to give this one to.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And I mean, we're testing them both in unfriendly territory, which in some ways is the most fair thing to do. You know, GitHub Copilot is not optimized for either of these models. And so while I'm sure you'd get better performance out of Claude in Cursor with their tight relationship, and you get better performance out of Gemini in Firebase Studio, and also probably a Google Maps integration, it is interesting to see when they're not fully optimized and not fully tightly related with the IDE, how the performance is a little bit confusing, and it's hard for us to make a call here. I would say, we'll open source these, but comparing to the single shot tests we did before the video, I'm not seeing like a huge increase in the abilities. If anything, I'm seeing that Gemini regressed and Claude did about the same.
Yeah, I'm right there with you to say that Claude appears to be the better agentic coder, but putting it in the IDE and working it through, at least for these 3D environments, does not seem to give it any order of magnitude better performance. We have certainly found the edge of these models, and 3D continues to be a great test case showing that we're not replacing every engineer just yet, but really cool.
Thanks for watching, folks. Sorry there weren't any more concrete conclusions, but I think maybe that is a takeaway in and of itself. The coding IDE and the model and the combination of the two and how much they've been meant to work together or even co-designed in the case of something like Codex is very important to the sort of overall performance. Benchmarks aren't going to tell you everything. Going outside of the web dev domain is going to throw a wrench in things. And so we'll continue doing tests. We'll continue testing various combinations. Definitely let us know what you want to see tested on the channel. We hope this was helpful. So if you liked it, give it a like. And if you want to follow along for our future videos, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.